Russia's war in Ukraine and U.S. sanctions against the country now threaten operations on the International Space Station. Tonight, the troubling escalation of a war of words and the real-world space consequences for NASA. Only on Way 31, our Matt Kroschel spoke with a famous Huntsville space guru about his new op-ed in the Washington Post and what he thinks NASA needs to do in response to Russia's threats. Matt.
And Dan, Huntsville's very own Homer Hickam, the former NASA engineer, advisor to the National Space Council, says NASA needs to play hardball with Russia in space. He thinks the U.S. should cut ties with Russia in space, saying the U.S. should take Russia up on their threats to leave the ISS. His op-ed in the Washington Post arguing the International Space Station, operated in cooperation between the U.S., Russia, and other space agencies, needs decommissioned sooner rather than later, and that we need to, quote, divorce from Russia in space operations. Right now, 4 Americans, 2 Russians, and a German on board the space outpost, and tensions are mounting. Threats from the Kremlin to leave NASA's astronauts without a ride home.
Head of the Russian Space Agency, a fellow by the name of Dmitry Rogozhin, has been threatening to leave the International Space Station ever since his country attacked Ukraine. And in my opinion, we should take him up on it. The fact is, the Russians need the International Space Station more than we do, and they have nowhere else to go. And if that's some diplomatic lever that we can use against the Russians to stop this brutal war, then we should use it.
Hickam says relations between Washington and Moscow have fallen to their lowest levels since the Cuban Missile Crisis. And while NASA is playing their cards very close to the chest, not commenting on this right now, Hickam says they have backup plans ready to make sure our astronauts are able to get back to Earth if Russia refuses to allow them to board their shuttle back. He's also confident even without Russia's help, the ISS could stay in orbit for several months. I'm Matt Kroschel, Way 31 News.
All right, thanks, Matt. Matt continues his conversation with Homer Hickam tonight at 6 with more on what this major move could mean for future space programs and what would need to happen for this so-called divorce to become a reality.